Thanks for joining me once again. In this short tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to join different text from different cells into one cell in Excel. And by so doing, we use the concatenate function or the concat function, right? So let's just get right into it. So we can simply insert the function from this insert function button in Excel, which takes us to this table, or we can simply type in the syntax, which is concatenate, right? So before that, from this table, you can see that we have the first names and the last names of different athletes. We have John Cena, Great Khali, Lewis Hamilton, Lionel Messi, and so on and so forth, right? And we want to join them, or we want to combine the first names and the last names into one cell, right? We can proceed by using the concatenate function. We have two, right? We have concat, which basically concatenates or joins a list or range of text strings. And the second one, which I always choose, is concatenate, which joins several text strings into one text string, right? So if I want to select the second one, it takes me, or it does the syntax for me, right? So I can select the first name, which is John, and then it says after the text, I put a comma, right? And then select the last name, which is Cena, right? And if there are like multiple cells, I can just proceed to selecting each one of them. But this, we have only two. So once I select the first cell and the second cell, which is the first name and the last name, I can just close the parenthesis and then press enter. Now, what you can see is that we have the full name, but what Excel did was that it joined the first name and the last name together. So there's no space in between the first name and the last name, right? So if I'm to duplicate this one, right, you will see that Great Khali, Lewis Hamilton, Lionel Messi, all of it, they have, they don't have space in between, right? So I can just go back. For me to put a space in between, I can do it this way. Let's start again. Equals to concatenate, select this one. I can select the first name, right? And then after I put the comma, I can open quotes. And inside these quotes, I want to say, I want a space in between the two texts that I'll be joining, right? So I can put a space here and then close quotes and then comma and then select the last name, which is Cena, right? And then close the parenthesis and press enter. You will see that the first name, or there's a space in between the first name and the last name. If I'm to do it again, equals to concatenate the first name, which is Great, comma, open quotes, space, close quotes, comma, the last name, which is Kali, and close parenthesis. It does it for me, right? And I can do it again, equals to concatenate, right? Equals to concatenate, and then Lewis, comma, open quotes, space, close quotes, comma, and Hamilton, and then close parenthesis, right? And then, once I'm done, I can simply duplicate it, and you can see that the previous one we did, the first names and the last names were joined together, right? But this, you can see that there's a space in between the first names, or the first names, right, and the last name. So that's how we use the concatenate, by using the syntax version, right? The next section, I'll show you how to use the fx function, the insert function in Excel. We would basically do the same thing, right, using the concatenate function. But in this case, we have the car brand and the car model, right? And we want to join those two together with a space, right? We can simply, the first one, I use the syntax version, and this one we can use the insert function button that we see here, or option that we see here. If I click on it, right, it takes me to this insert function table, right? And I can simply type in the function that I want to use, and it brings me, or it takes me to concat and concatenate and then text join, right? I can select concatenate, and then when I press OK, you can see that it takes me to this table, right? So I can simply select this text 1, which will be the car brand, and text 2, right, will be Camry, which is B2, right? Now, if I do this, if I press enter, right, you can see that there's no space in between Toyota and Camry, right? For me to put a space, or for a space to appear, I can simply go back and select concatenate, right? And then once I select the first text in the text 1, right, which is A1, A2, the second, or text 2, I can do the same as I did with the previous section, which is by putting a quote, space, and then close quotes, and then text 3, I can simply put Camry. And you can see from here that it says Toyota Camry, right? There's a space in between. But if there was no space, right, it would have been Toyota Camry with no space, or with no, like, with nothing in between to separate them. So open quotes, space, close quotes, and then B2. And if I click OK and expand this, you can see that there's a space in between. And I can simply just expand the table, right? So thanks once again